I'm super indifferent about this video right now, I'm not even gonna lie. Because it's hard for me to hop on a bike, do 200 miles an hour, and then, you know, go and sell it. But that's exactly what's happening today. I'm dropping this bike off at WOW for them to sell that shit. They're gonna sell it for me. Just because it's gonna make things easier on me rather than having a bunch of people try to get in contact with me or kick my tires or whatnot, you know? Does that make sense? Basically, I'm gonna throw it up at WOW and like, can you sell this for me so I don't have to deal with all the bullshit? But yeah, that's exactly what's going on today, man. I've made some decisions, and I'm not really sure how to feel about it right now. Because, honestly, man, I love this bike. It's just absolutely insane. It's the fastest bike I've owned, by far. It's the fastest bike I've ever ridden, by far. I want to say it's the fastest bike I've ever ridden. I'm not excluding Eves when he let me ride his. You know, he let me ride his, and his made more power, but I didn't nearly get on it like I have on this thing. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the fastest bike I've ever been on. It's been the most balls I've ever had on a bike anyway. I got one little 200 mile an hour run out of it before I hang her up permanently. No, I think she needed that. I feel bad, man. Like, I don't want to get rid of it, but I also don't want to keep it. You guys ever have anything like that? It's like, for me to keep this bike is irresponsible on my part. You see, I can't control myself. and I'm not afraid of the bike. That's another reason why I want to get rid of it. Is that this bike should scare the absolute piss out of me, and it doesn't. And that's not good. Like, I should be like, oh, I don't want to get on this thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I still have this, like, let me explain to you the feeling this bike gives me. It's weird, I've never had any vehicle do this. But for a long time, and I say I still probably do a little bit, but for a long time I had an ominous feel every time I would hop on this bike or get ready to hop on the bike. Weird impending doom feel, I guess. I don't know. It used to be like a really thick blanket of like nervousness that I felt, and I don't feel that anymore. I definitely get like an ominous feel, and I've always wondered, right? Because that only happens with a few people and things in your entire life, and I've always wondered if that feeling that you get, that like deep down stomach feeling, I've always wondered if that's you from like another universe crossing paths with something that's killed you in a different timeline or something. I'm too sober for this shit, but that's just kind of how I always thought about it. So I've been talking about putting this thing up for sale for probably months now. For probably a couple months now. And I've told you guys why. And honestly, like, the support from it, outstanding. Very surprised. Very surprised at the amount of people who understand and like empathize and are cool with it. And at this point, you guys are more than just my YouTube channel and my earnings. You guys are my family at this point, right? So I take a lot of what you guys say into consideration. This is it. This is the last ride on the H2. It's time for the H2 to go, guys. It's kind of like a bittersweet moment for me because, you know, I don't ride this bike. I don't much enjoy riding it anymore. It's harsh, it's hot, you know, it's not a fun bike to ride. And a lot of you guys probably never gonna understand that until you ride one for a long period of time. And you're like, oh, it sucks, you know. And there's a lot of people who like don't give a shit about that. Like, they don't care about comfort or style, or like, for me, riding's not a contest to see how cool I am or how badass I am or whatever. Riding for me is something that I just enjoy personally. If I'm not having fun or enjoying the bike that I'm riding, I'm on the wrong bike. And I think this is not my bike. Not anymore. It was at one point. I had a lot of fun with it, you know, like it's a lot like the GTR, you know. Fast doesn't always mean fun. It can be, but I'll use the GTR for instance. Like, when I got it, I was super excited about it. It's a car that I've always wanted, and I was really happy to be able to have that, right? But it was like I was giving up a couple of things that were really important to me, and I thought that just because it was a fast car, I wouldn't care. And you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong about that. I'm not always wrong, but I was wrong. I missed the V8, I missed the manual, and I missed the rear wheel drive. 3 things that I've always really enjoyed about cars. And like, the GTR was fun for a while, yeah, but it wasn't what I like in cars. Would the GTR make an excellent second car? Fuck yeah, it would. Like, if I could have a Camaro and the GTR, dope. But it just wasn't for me right now. Like, that's a hard thing to learn about yourself, you know? It takes a lot to figure out what you really want, man. I had a friend that's kind of going through that right now, and hope he figures it out. But it takes a lot of soul searching for you to realize that, like, something like this isn't for you right now, you know? Like, it took a lot of thinking and deciding and like mental note for me and my girlfriend. Actually, we're both very similar in this aspect. It's like, once we realize that we're done with something, whether it be a car or a motorcycle or a house or, you know, whatever it may be, once we realize that we're done with something, it's like a light switch, man. Just like flick, and then we know. It's crazy. It's very instant, and it's like one of those things that I challenge myself on a lot with this bike. Like, instead of just being like, click, oh, I guess I'm done, I was like, yo, am I really done? For me to get like a good understanding, this is gonna sound crazy, but for me to get a good understanding about how my brain works, I'll basically act as if I sold it in my head and see how I feel about it. And that usually gives me a super clear answer about how I'm gonna feel about stuff. And let me tell you, my switch is flipped on this bike. It has been for a minute, but I did fight it tooth and nail. You guys have been super supportive of it. I really wasn't expecting it. And I think because, like, there's a lot of people who really enjoy the motorcycle content. There's people who only enjoy the motorcycle content. I empathize with those people. I understand that, and I agree with you. I get it, you know? If you guys don't give a shit about anything other than motorcycles, then I can understand why you'd be upset. Like, I know there's a good amount of people on here who just watch me for the H2 stuff. I get that, and I empathize with that. I'm on this, I can totally be like, yeah, I get that 100%, and I don't blame you. Man, the support that I've been getting about selling it's been insane. Something I never expected. Really expecting like major backlash, the same way I was when I got rid of the Sharpie bike, or I can't even think about all the bad shit. But what's so cool is that just how awesome you guys have become over the past couple years. Like, every now and again I'll see some messages saying like, oh man, Dan, you've grown up, etc., etc. But you know who else has really matured and grown up is my audience. Like, you guys. It's bananas to see how much has changed over the past even just year and a half with you guys on YouTube, and especially since I started changing some things. I used to go out and force myself to make a video whenever I was running low on content, or like just because that's what I thought people wanted, and you know, I need to keep them paychecks up, dollar bills out, yeah! I stopped doing that. I started recording and making videos only on the things that I really wanted to do. That's when YouTube for me changed like substantially. Man, I can't tell you how many like haters I dumped in that time period, people talking shit, and now I have a stronger fan base because of that, no doubt. So supportive. The people who stick around for the motorcycle stuff, I appreciate you, because I still, like, this isn't the end of motorcycle stuff, this is just the end of my H2 stuff. I'm sure that's on you guys' mind, is like, are you gonna buy another sport bike? Like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll probably buy another sport bike. But an H2? Nah. Maybe go back to my ZX10. Something around that size and power level. Something I can still be like, hop on and be comfortable but have fun. But yeah, motorcycle stuff is still gonna continue on the channel, just not H2 stuff. Hopefully more DRZ stuff, man. I miss that bike. The battery's been dead on that thing for a minute. I just hadn't had the energy or time to mess with it, you know? I'm still doing the stuff with WoW too, by the way. That's what I'm on my way to do after I drop this thing off, is I'm gonna do a couple of reviews and more videos there too. But yeah, this bike, by the time you see this video, should be officially for sale at WoW. You guys can stop by and check it out, or, you know, buy it or whatever you guys want. I don't know how much yet. Hopefully someone can love it like I haven't been able to. I talked about it a little bit, but I've had a lot of comments, people asking me, what am I gonna get in exchange for the H2? Like, I'm selling the H2 to buy something else, essentially. And it's not gonna make much sense to you guys, I guess, because I use the word dream car or dream bike every now and again. The GTR was something I thought it was my dream car, and it wasn't. As a matter of fact, I don't even know what my dream modern car is right now. Like you can have a dream muscle car, a dream modern car, a dream sports car, a dream supercar, or whatever. Like, they don't always have to be the same. But I thought the GTR was my dream sports car, and man, I was wrong. Shit, I need fuel. Well, there's no point in filling it up before I go drop it off. Man, ever since I was a kid, I can remember looking at one particular car. It's been something that I've wanted since I was a kid, and I've never been in a position to have it, you know? I've never been in a position to own the car that I've wanted. And let me explain why, because, dude, I fucking love my Camaro, right? My ZL1. But if that car wasn't a reliable modern daily car, I couldn't have that as my only car. I love that car, but if it was my only car and it wasn't reliable, I couldn't have that as my only car. For until now, I could only afford one vehicle, you know, one car, one sports car. And then I have the Ram, you know, and I guess a dually. But I looked at myself the other day, I was like, dude, I'm in a position to to finally own the car that I've always wanted since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, I can remember sitting on the computer with my dad. Like, I want to say 15 is about when I started really getting into cars. And there was one car that I found for sale that ended up being a scam, but I really wanted it. It was a 72 Camaro, a 1972 Camaro, the one with the shark nose front ends. 1970, 1973 all shared the same front end. Then they changed it to that weird, like, more of like a slanty front end, and I didn't like those years. But 70 to 73 is the year Camaro that I've always wanted, and I could never have one as just my only car. As much as I love classic muscle cars and stuff like that, having a muscle car, like a 1970s classic muscle car, as my only car was just not feasible. It was not reliable. No, the air conditioning's probably not going to work. There's no airbags. Like, it's just unreasonable to try to basically daily drive a 72 Camaro. But now I have a place that I can keep it. I now have another vehicle that I can drive without having to drive that one all the time, you know? And I don't have to finance it, just pay for it cash. And that's a feeling that I've been waiting for, man. I've been really wanting a 72 Camaro. And God, it feels so good to be so close, you know? So I decided it, man. It was like one of those things that's like, I'd been wanting to sell the H2. So I'm gonna sell the H2 and buy a 70 to 73 Camaro. My favorite year. You cannot talk me out of it. Justin's tried. He doesn't like those Camaros. Then I'm gonna do a full-blown resto mod. That's right. That's right, this dually project's giving me a lot of fucking confidence. And you know what's simpler than a modern GM 3500 Denali with a million wires? A 1970s Camaro. So I'm talking full blown. I'll probably do like an LS7 swap, have my buddy Alex redo the interior, like the seats and whatnot. I'll rip the dash out, make it really nice. Probably put like Dynamat inside the doors to really give it that nice solid sound feel. I wanted to feel and smell like a modern car on the inside, but I also really wanted to have that classic muscle car look. So give it some modern suspension, do an LS swap, but I'll probably keep an automatic in it, you know? Nice interior, suede headliner kind of deal, Dynamat that shit too. Upgrade the air conditioning, nice wooden steering wheel. I've got it all planned out in my mind. And whatever color, I'm looking at this 173 online right now that I really, really enjoy. And I'm about to go check it out today, and I think I might make him an offer. I want something that's pretty and reliable to drive around in the meantime. I won't have time to do the swap or the resto full build until probably until winter. I probably won't even start on it till winter when I have some time. God, it's a million degrees out today. Y'all heard the new Yellow Wolf song yet? It's pretty banging. Unnatural Born Killer. But that's the car I've always wanted since I was a kid. If you can ask my dad, what was I doing when I was a kid? It was looking at that shit. I know this one's not gonna let me down the same way the GTR is, because I had unrealistic expectations of the GTR, and it feels really good to have something that I've wanted since I was a kid be accomplished, you know? That's all I've ever wanted. It's really weird, and I don't want to like continuously tell you guys about the stuff that I've always wanted, but dude, that's something that I've always wanted, and I'm gonna get it, man. I'm gonna find me a way to get it. That's how I operate. So you guys can expect that on the channel. They are gonna send me out a Jeep to rebuild. That'll take precedence over the Camaro. But I do want to be able to drive the Camaro around. So that's important to me, that whatever car I get is nice enough to drive around and have fun. And you know, I don't want to hoon it or break it or anything like that. But I definitely want a car that I can have fun and show off in the meantime, and just really take my time with it. I want to do this car right. It means a lot to me. Plus, it seems like you guys really like to watch me build stuff. Like, that blows me away. There's consistently 100,000 people out there who like to watch me build stuff. And that's what I really like doing, man. I like building stuff. I like turning wrenches. I like fabricating stuff. I like cutting and welding, and I just like all that stuff, man. And I found a way to make me be able to do all the stuff that I like. I like developing and creating things. And I found a way to do that, entertain and get paid at the same time. And God, dude, like, that's a feeling like no other. I was telling Laura last night, her and I were sitting at the dinner table, you know, together in our house, just grinning, right? Like, just like, damn, man, we did it, you know? Something we've worked on and talked about for a long time now. Well over a year of us being back together and talking about it. Just looking at it, I'm grinning, and she's like, what? And I'm like, I've just never been happier. You know, I've never been more fulfilled, more satisfied than I have been this past year and a half. Working my life back out, figuring out what I am and who I am, and It's unreal, guys. It's unreal. And a lot of that stems from you guys too. You guys have really given me a lot to look forward to. I don't want to get emotional, but I'm getting there right now, man. This bike was kind of like a lot like the GTR. It was like a made it moment for me. Like, holy shit, dude, got a 20-some-odd thousand dollar motorcycle in my garage that I don't even ride. Had a $100,000 GTR that I didn't love, you know? And what I do, I sold the GTR for a Camaro. What I do for this bike, I'm selling the H2 for a Camaro, man. At least I'm consistent. You did good, bike. You did good. Like, I'm so incredibly appreciative of all the positive comments and the people who've been there from the beginning to the end so far. I'm just so thankful that I've got to experience this and realize that it's not for me, man. People would kill for this bike, but I had the ability to own one and ride it. And now it's time to let it go and move on to something better. This is it, guys. You've been with me for the last ride of the Ninja H2. If you want her, she's up here at Wow Motorcycles for sale. Time to say goodbye, man. But I'm not sad. I'm not sad about it. I'm happy. It's like kind of like how you celebrate a death, you know? Don't be sad because they're gone. Oh shit, I forgot a piece of vinyl. How did I forget that? It's not like the whole bike's chrome or anything. It's like celebrating a death, you know? Don't be sad because it's gone. Be happy because of the times that you had with it. Man, I don't feel like I did a very good job making a moto vlog this time around because my head was in some weird places, but thank you guys for being along with the H2.